All right. So just to somewhat recap what we left off looking at, we were talking about the specific action of thyroid hormone. So thyroid hormone is one of our main hormones. We were looking at the specific axis for thyroid hormone, how TRH is released from the hypothalamus, TSH released from anterior pituitary, and then that TSH comes to the follicular cells of the thyroid gland itself, and then bind to receptors on these cells, and through a process of second messenger and the signaling cascade resulted in thyroglobulin uptake and then thyroid hormone release into the blood. So this is kind of the axis for thyroid hormone and how we end up having that release from a response to the trophic hormones from the hypothalamus and pituitary. So what we'll go on to look at this point is looking at what that thyroid hormone does when it enters the general circulation, when it enters the bloodstream. What does it do? What effect does it have on the body? And so thyroid hormone, we want to associate it with metabolism. Okay, and so it's going to have a lot of different individual functions, but its overall function is to increase metabolism. So it's going to be a lipophilic hormone. It's going to be similar to steroids in its makeup. It's going to alter the transcription rate of mRNA, that is, increase the rate so that we can begin to increase metabolism, the cell's metabolism of energy. And then if we can also think about cretinism. Cretinism is a clinical condition. It's a disease seen in infancy where there's insufficient hormones available during development. So if, for example, we have insufficient thyroid hormone during pregnancy, right? Let's say a woman is not exposed to enough iodine, so she doesn't have enough thyroid hormone being secreted during the development of that fetus during pregnancy, then this will result in some congenital deformities when that fetus is born, which present as cretinism. So not only are there obvious facial deformities, but there is cognitive decline. There may be learning disabilities and that type of thing with infants that are born without adequate thyroid hormone. So thyroid hormone plays a very important role during the development period, but also a very important role in adults for metabolism. Okay, let's look at some of the specific effects that this hormone results in and how that plays into metabolism. So it increases the rate of the sodium-potassium pump. And we have talked about the sodium-potassium pump, right? It's what is responsible for getting the cell back to resting membrane potential specifically, and then also just maintaining that resting membrane potential. So if we can increase the rate of this pump, we can increase the rate at which cells can get back to rest. Therefore, we can increase the rate of action potential. So this can kind of speed up our neurons and speed up our other excitable cells. Second on the list here, it can increase the number and size of mitochondria. This is kind of second, intuitive in terms of metabolism. If we increase mitochondria, number and size, we have more energy being produced by those cells, therefore they can do more work. If we increase oxidative phosphorylation enzymes, that's kind of the same effect, because oxidative phosphorylation takes place in the mitochondria, therefore more cellular respiration, more energy, faster rate of metabolism again. Some of the other effects, glycogenolysis, proteolysis, and lipolysis. So all forms of biomolecule breakdown. Therefore, we can break down or catabolize our biomolecules to liberate energy, and we can do that much faster with thyroid hormone. Also promotes gluconeogenesis and ketone synthesis. So some of the alternate pathways to generate energy, like making ketones, making glucose from protein, which is what gluconeogenesis is, those alternate pathways to synthesize glucose or energy stores are also tapped into much faster, therefore generating additional energy. All right. And then the last one is promote synthesis of beta-adrenergic receptors. And just thinking back to what we said in the autonomic nervous system, beta-adrenergic receptors are responsible for basically the sympathetic division signaling, right? The sympathetic nervous system and signaling there. So it's going to basically increase our fight or flight response, increase things like heart rate, respiratory rate, and that sort of thing. So beta adrenergic receptors is another way that we can increase metabolism, increase the metabolic rate by way of thyroid hormone. So if we look at all of these individual functions, and there are many more that aren't listed here, we can begin to see that this is a calorogenic effect, right? It's going to start increasing the way that we burn and utilize